What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank, and today I want to talk about black people supporting black people because I read a comment in one of my comment sections and it inspired me to make this video. That's how I make a lot of my videos. That's why I'll never run out of content because my subscribers give me the inspiration to make a lot of my videos. And what I want to talk about is how how black people in America, right? And I don't want to generalize. I hate when people do broad generalizations of black people, right? Black people, blah, like every black person knows every black person, right? But in general, we do see in the black community that the problem that we have as we're coming out of our position, we're coming out of the situation in which we've been subservient to a certain group of people, and we've been attacked, and we've been on the defense, and we've been in a constant state of survival and all that stuff, and we're coming out of it. We're starting to get our legs underneath us. And an issue that we have, and it's not just a black thing. Here's the thing: this happens with all groups. Within the house of all groups, this happens. But I'm particularly talking about our group because I'm black, and that's who I care about. Our group, right? And the problem that a lot of us have is that our base level, black people, we have complaints. We have complaints that, law enforcement, is full of white folks and they don't understand us and they treat us bad and this and that, right? So on one hand, we complain about that, right? But on the next hand, when black folks say, you know what, I'm gonna join the police force, I'm gonna try to make a change, I'm gonna do that, right? Then we get mad at the black person for becoming a police officer, right? And we call him a coon, and we say all this stuff. Not you, and we really don't know if that police officer is a coon. We just see the uniform and him wearing it, and then we just associate him with everything that's going on, not knowing that that police officer may have joined the police force because first, may always wanted to be law enforcement so he can protect in his community, and he wanted to make a change within the system, right? And a lot of us don't understand what the system is and how it works inside the police force and what black folks have to deal with, dealing with unions and dealing with institutionalized racism within the police force that was created originally to oppress black people. All right, period. You understand what kind of daunting task that would be to be a black police officer trying to make a cultural change within an institution that was built to subjugate us. All right, but we don't give that black police officer any credit. We don't give the black police officer when they become a chief or they become a deputy or they become some higher level. We automatically, the higher they ascend, they become more and more coonish to the black people. We turn our backs on those people and we don't understand exactly what they do. And we hear a highlight or something happen and we automatically paint that guy as being on the other side. So he doesn't get the appreciation from the community, which he may have possibly joined a police officer and built his life trying to protect and trying to make change for. So that police officer doesn't get the respect he deserves from his own people. Same thing happened in business. You have a black person, he'll start a business. We always say, we need black people to start businesses. We need black people to start businesses. We need to have our own stuff. As soon as a black person start a business, start making a whole bunch of money, start being successful, all of a sudden, they're a coon, right? And then they working for the man. And they're taking advantage. Like, every time a black person ascends to some level of success, we jump on them. Black politicians, we talk about the Democratic Party and how they don't do anything for us, right? So in order to make change in the Democratic Party, that is the vehicle in which we've started to use to elevate. At first, it was the Republican Party. At first, it was the Republican Party that we used. That was the vehicle in which we used at the very beginning when we were allowed to participate in the politics of America. After slavery, during Reconstruction, we were mostly Republicans because Republicans had policies that facilitated us, that benefited us at the point. That was the vehicle in which allowed us to operate within the system, right? Once we started to thrive and started to build, right, their party switched. So the people who were the Democrats became Republicans and Republicans became Democrats. A lot of people don't know that. That's why you got a lot of ignorant people walking around still thinking that the Republican Party is the party that freed the slaves and the Democrats are the ones who enslaved the slaves, not knowing it was the Democrats, right? It was the actual Democrats who used to be Republicans, and then it was the Republicans that switched to be Democrats. It's called the Southern Strategy. All you have to do is actually look it up, but people don't do research. They say they do research, but they don't. That's why I don't debate these people, because the base of their information is so false. It'll be a waste of time for me to to debate people who don't even have a foundation for me to work with so that they can comprehend what I'm trying to say, right? So, that's that case right there. So, and then when it comes, so we want to support businesses, but we black folks, we don't. Why? Because we go buy everybody else's stuff because it's already established, right? We don't want to start from the mud when we supporting other people, knowing how hard it is for black people to get capital in America, knowing how hard it is for us to start things up, knowing that we have institutions in America that's built to slow us down. It's not stopping us. Now we can do it, but it slows us down. It makes it difficult, very difficult for us to achieve the same things that a white person can do, that an Asian person who's allowed to have proximity to whiteness as long as he disparages black people. Your Spanish people who are allowed to have proximity to whiteness as long as they're white Spanish and they disparage black people. That's how you get in the club. You have to disparage black people and you get in the club and you can get empowered. Like, we all know that. That's the tool to keep the white man's biggest enemy, which is us. The white man ain't really scared of nobody but us. That's why they need everybody to keep us down, right? So the one thing I like about Africa is that there's certain problems you just don't have here. Because guess what? It forces us to support black. You see here, everything I do, I'm supporting a black business. Everything I do, I'm supporting a black business here. There's not one thing that I do here that I'm not supporting a black business. There's not one thing that I do here that I'm not supporting a black person. Everybody I employ is black. Everything I buy is from some black wholesaler. Everything I do here is black. My driver is black. The people who come and clean my house is black. The person that make my food is black, right? Everything is black. I don't have to worry about thinking about how I'm gonna support somebody black today when I'm here in Africa. And that's the great thing. And it forces black people to work with me. You see, like I said, black people, some black people, we have an issue with supporting each other because we all inherently don't trust each other like we trust the white man, because we've been conditioned over 500 years to see the white man as the authority. That's a psychological thing. We still working on that. We're still working on getting that out of our heads. And it takes time, guys. It takes time to do that. Like when a person is being kidnapped, right? When a person is kidnapped and they're being kidnapped for a very long time, sometimes they empathize with the kidnapper. They start to develop feelings for their kidnapper. They start, because they're spending time. There's a intimacy level that they have with their kidnapper that's hard to explain to a person that hasn't gone through it. There's an intimacy level. It's a perverted intimacy level, but it's an intimacy level to where sometimes the person that's been kidnapped don't want to see anything harmful to happen to the person that kidnapped them, that abused them, that raped them, that tortured them. They have an affinity, an affection for them. Like I said, it's perverted, but it's true. And you can look this up. Look at people who've been kidnapped. Look up stories of those women that be trapped in these dudes' houses in basements, chained up, and see how they have an affinity, and it's something that they have to take counseling for, right? So when you see things like that, right, and we recognize that those things happen, yet but we don't take in consideration that we as a whole group of people have dealt with that on a macro scale for more than 200, 300, 400 years. I mean, don't you think that will have a psychological effect, a generational psychological effect on an entire group of people? Of course. And we're still coming out of that. Remember, there are people alive today whose parents were slaves. Slavery didn't happen 500 years ago. See, white people will tell you that happened 500 years ago. No, slavery just ended. And it's not just slavery. They like to pretend like after slavery, everything was hunky-dory. It was just as bad after slavery. Jim Crow, right? Reconstruction. They burned down everything we ever built. When we was minding our own businesses, we built economies. We was building generational wealth. We were doing our own thing. We were doing that. And they destroyed it. White people came and destroyed it. Like, come on, guys, think. Every time we try to do something, they come and destroy it. Right? And with no accountability. They used to eat us, guys. Come on. They have a recipe book, how the delectable Negro, how to eat us. And they still didn't use seasoning. They still didn't use seasoning. I don't even know what they need a recipe for. They probably just boiled us and just ate us, and they shit probably tastes great. Like, it's crazy. Think about it. These people ate us. They raped us. They ate us, enslaved us. They destroyed us. And they was doing it for hundreds of years. And now they want us to don't talk about it. Because they can't process the fact that that's what they did. And they still benefit from all of that. They took our land. They took our agency. They took it all So of course, in an environment like that, it'll be rough to try to excel in any type of industry. But now we're getting to the point where we can, right? But we're still psychologically damaged, and we don't trust each other because we don't think each other are capable to do the things necessary to succeed, because we still have that mentality, that 400 years of yes, massa mentality. That's the problem, right? And we have to get that. That's the mental slavery that we're in today, right? And we have a lot of people pandering to the alt-right. We have a lot of black people who figure, let me hate on anybody black in any sense of authority, because if I do that, white people will respect me. That's a false set. That is never. White people have proven that they won't respect you. They'll use you. They'll tell you they respect you until they don't need you, and then they'll break every treaty, break every contract. That's what they do. Because history has said that, right? That's why Africa is the key. We have to get in an environment to which we would be able to operate. We need to get in our own natural habitat, our own natural environment. Shit, we can't even stay healthy in America. We're not even exposed to this. That's why we got vitamin D deficiency. That's why we're susceptible to so many diseases, because we're not even in the place we're supposed to be. We're not even in the place we're supposed to be. We shouldn't have any vitamin D deficiency. You know what vitamin D does? You know what happens when you have low vitamin D? It causes a bunch of other effects. That's why we have higher blood pressure than most people. That's why we have all these other little things. It's because we're not where we're supposed to be. That's just it. That's science. That's a fact. You can't argue that. You can't filibuster that. That's true, right? So what I'm saying is, when you come to Africa or the Caribbean, there's certain places in the Caribbean, you don't have to worry about, do I need to support? You ain't got no choice but to support black. Black people ain't got no choice but to support you. You're forced to work together. You're forced to figure it out. You're forced to do it. And if you want to succeed, you can only succeed with your people. That's what I love about Africa. And there is no white people here in my way, here in Nigeria. Ain't no white person can tell me shit here in Nigeria. If a white person come out their mouth, if I see a white person and they come out their mouth, it's game over here in Nigeria. They don't got no power here in Nigeria. That's one thing that's the thing about Nigeria. You see, you got a couple other African countries where white people still walking around like they shit. Not Nigeria. There's no other group of people in Nigeria walking around like they the shit. You think Chinese people come to Nigeria walking around like they shit? Go ahead, step out of line, watch what happens. Step out of line. Nigeria is black power, straight up. They may got a lot of issues here, just like any other place. But guess what? Don't come up here disrespecting, or it's game over. Period. That's it. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that about Nigeria. But Nigeria, everything's black. Yeah, you got some Lebanese who got some businesses here. Okay, as long as they stay respectful, right? Yeah, you got a few Chinese people doing business here, as long as they're respectful. But for the most part, everything here is black, African, Nigerian, everything, period. And that's what I love about it. Everything, unapologetically black African, right? So all I want to say, if y'all want to support black, if you want to put yourself in a situation where you ain't got no choice, you're going to have to adapt by supporting black because you ain't got no choice. If you want to go to a place where black people have to support you, hey, Africa is the way. And Nigeria specifically is the place. That's all I got to say. Afro Think Tank, learn some, teach them. I'm out.